All right, welcome to your deep dive. This time we're going to jump back to the early 2000s.
Ooh, the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out some Super Bowl commercials
Okay.
that had a surprising impact, I think, on IT services.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we're talking about those EDS commercials. You remember those?
Yeah, those were great.
Yeah. I mean, they managed to capture the chaos and complexity of IT,
Yeah.
and they did it in a way that was actually kind of funny.
Yeah, and insightful, I thought.
Yeah, exactly. So for our deep dive here,
Okay.
we're going to be looking at the Cat Herders trilogy.
Ah, the trilogy.
And as our guide, we're going to be using a couple of things.
Okay.
We've got the Wikipedia entries on the commercials themselves.
Right.
And EDS. We'll be talking about EDS.
Okay.
And we've got the commercials themselves, which we can watch on YouTube.
Perfect.
So this deep dive is really going to uncover some fascinating facts about how these commercials were made.
Okay.
And this cat herders metaphor, like where did that come from?
Yeah, where did that come from?
And we'll look at how these ads kind of reflected the changing world of IT back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
All right. So let's rewind to the year 2000.
Okay.
Do you remember the dot-com boom?
Oh, I do.
I mean, e-commerce was exploding.
Wild time.
And it felt like everyone was just scrambling to adapt to the internet.
Yeah, you're right. It was a wild west for IT. I mean, huge opportunities.
Yeah.
But so much pressure to keep up with all the change that was happening.
And that's where EDS comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, they were trying to rebrand themselves.
Okay.
They wanted to show the world,
Yeah.
hey, we can handle this new complex landscape.
Right?
So what better stage to do it than the Super Bowl?
I mean, yeah, that's the place to do it if you can swing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they did it in a way that I don't think anybody expected.
All right, how so?
So enter Cat Herders, their first Super Bowl commercial.
Okay.
Can you imagine this?
Yeah.
A wide open Montana prairie.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
You got a bunch of grizzled cowboys, and instead of cattle, they're trying to wrangle thousands of cats.
Thousands of cats.
Pure chaos.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, the brilliance of this ad.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think it's that they tapped into something that everybody just gets,
yeah.
this frustration of trying to manage something that's just completely unpredictable.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're in IT. Everybody's dealt with that,
Yeah.
that feeling.
Everyone has felt that herding cats feeling.
At some point in their life. Oh, yeah.
At some point in their life. And I think that's why this resonated so well with people.
It makes sense.
And you know what? I read this and I was like, no way.
What?
It's been said that President Bill Clinton called this his favorite Super Bowl ad.
Wow. Talk about making an impression.
Yeah.
I'm made.
That just shows you how effectively they captured
Yeah,
that universal feeling.
it's true.
But beyond the humor,
Right.
this ad was really strategic, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, EDS was really trying to position
That's
themselves
the solution?
as the solution
Yep.
to this IT chaos.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, look, we know IT can feel like herding cats.
But we got this.
We're the experts. We can handle it.
Right.
But filming this ad with all those cats
Oh, yeah.
must have been a nightmare.
I can't even imagine.
Must have been quite the challenge.
I bet.
So they actually used around 60 real cats in the commercial.
60 real cats.
Yeah, the rest were CGI.
Oh.
But the true, I mean, they had to deal with,
Oh, I bet.
they had snow,
Wow.
they had wind, like all kinds of tough conditions.
So they had to come up with some tricks to get these cats to cooperate.
They had to get creative.
Like what?
I read that they were using things like clickers.
Clickers.
And of course, you got to have tunas
Oh, yeah, tuna. You got to have tuna.
if you want to work with cats.
That makes sense.
But, you know, it wasn't just about the spectacle.
Right.
Cat Herders was also about boosting morale within EDS itself.
Okay, so how did it do that?
Well, got to think about it. Back then, IT professionals, they were facing, I mean, immense pressure.
I bet.
With all this new technology and all this change happening.
Right.
And this ad, it kind of acknowledged their struggles.
In a way that was kind of fun.
Yeah, in a lighthearted way.
Right.
It's like they were saying, we see you, we get it, we're in this together.
I like that.
And that's actually where the story of Mark Hazelton comes in.
Okay.
So Mark wrote an article
Okay.
about how these ads impacted him.
Oh, wow.
And he actually wasn't even at EDS when these ads first aired.
So how did they impact him?
Well, he talks about how throughout his entire IT career,
Yeah.
he constantly referred back to these commercials.
Really?
Yeah, they became like a shared language,
That's interesting.
a way to kind of connect with other people
I see.
over the challenges they were all facing in their IT jobs.
That's fascinating that a series of ads could have that kind of impact.
I know.
That long-lasting impact.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
He even mentioned using the ads in presentations and training materials he was doing.
I love that.
Which I think just proves their staying power.
Yeah, for sure.
But, cat herders,
Right.
that was just the beginning.
Oh, there's more.
They've made a whole trilogy.
Right.
EDS followed up with 2 sequels, Airplane
Okay.
and Running with Squirrels.
Running with Squirrels, what's that about?
So let's take to the skies first
Okay.
with Airplane.
All right.
Imagine workers
Okay.
constructing an airplane.
Okay.
But here's the catch. It's already in flight.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
They're building it while it's flying.
While it's in flight.
Crazy.
I know. And what's really striking about this metaphor,
What do you think?
well, I think it illustrates how IT professionals have to keep systems running smoothly
Right.
while they're also developing and improving them at the same time.
So they can't stop. They got to keep everything
They
going
got to keep everything going
and make it better as they go.
and make it better as they go.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, and it's just a great visual representation of that.
Yeah, totally.
And actually, they had a line in the ad.
Oh, what was it?
They said, "We're not just building a plane here, we're building a dream."
I like that. Very aspirational.
And I think that kind of reflects the high stakes that were involved back then.
Yeah.
Because IT, it wasn't just about keeping the lights on anymore.
Right.
It was about enabling innovation and driving business goals.
Yeah, you're right. It was becoming much more important.
And that brings us to Running with Squirrels.
Okay.
This is the final ad in the trilogy.
Okay, what's this one like?
This one is pure chaotic energy.
All right, I'm intrigued.
So picture, if you will, the running of the bulls.
Okay, I got it.
But with, instead of bulls,
What is it?
squirrels.
Squirrels?
Running with squirrels.
That's crazy.
I know.
So what do you think that represents?
Well, I think it really reflects a key challenge in IT,
Okay.
and that's the need to be agile and adaptable.
Okay.
Because back then, the tech landscape was changing so rapidly.
Things were happening so fast.
You had to constantly be evolving to even stay in the game.
To stay ahead of the game, really.
You had to stay ahead of the game, you're right.
Keep up.
So I imagine a lot of people in IT back then,
Oh, yeah.
they could relate to that feeling
Oh, absolutely.
of just being chased by this swarm of unpredictable squirrels.
All over the place.
Yeah.
I love it.
So what I think is fascinating here
Yeah.
is that each ad in this trilogy
Okay.
really captures a different aspect of how the IT landscape was evolving.
Like how?
Well, so you've got cat herders,
Right.
which kind of established this relatable chaos.
This baseline of we're all in this together.
Yeah, and then you've got Airplane,
Okay.
which really highlighted the need to do development and operations at the same time.
Keep it running, make it better all at once.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then Running with Squirrels
Right.
emphasized the importance of agility.
Because things are changing so fast.
Exactly.
Got to stay ahead of it.
And, through all of these ads,
Yeah.
EDS was really positioning themselves as the calm amidst the storm.
Yeah, like we got this.
Yeah, the expert guide in this crazy new world of IT.
Right.
And it's interesting because these ads, they were actually conceived by Fallon,
Fallon. Okay.
which is an agency that was known for their bold and unconventional approach.
So what do you think made their approach so effective?
Well, I think it was their ability to really understand the IT world.
Yeah.
They didn't just throw around a bunch of jargon.
Right.
They really seemed to capture those little nuances,
Yeah.
the frustrations,
Yeah.
even the humor that you would only get if you'd been in the IT trenches.
And I think that's why it resonated so well
Yeah.
with actual IT people.
Yeah, because they felt seen.
They felt seen, they felt understood.
Exactly.
Right.
And it went beyond the humor, right?
Yeah.
These ads, they tapped into something deeper, I think,
Yeah.
about the nature of IT work itself,
Right.
this constant problem solving.
Yeah, right. You always got to think on your feet.
Yeah.
And just this thrill of building something new,
Right.
something innovative.
And that's what makes them so enduring.
It makes them stick with you.
They really do.
Yeah.
They stick with you.
Absolutely.
And I think they're not just about selling a service.
Right.
They're really about capturing the spirit
Yeah.
of an entire industry.
I agree. They're really good.
They really are. And they've kind of become a cultural touchstone,
Totally.
a way for IT people to connect
Yeah.
and kind of laugh at the shared absurdity
Right.
of their work.
Absolutely.
Speaking of absurdity,
Okay.
I can't help but chuckle
Yeah.
when I think about those cowboys trying to wrangle all those cats.
All those cats. Oh my gosh.
I mean, did they ever reveal any behind-the-scenes secrets
Oh yeah.
about how they filmed those scenes?
Well, I read that it was a combination of real cats and then CGI and just a lot of patience.
I can only imagine.
And apparently, get this, they had animal behaviorists on set, I know, to help direct the cats.
The feline actors.
The feline actors, yeah, I love that.
That's incredible. That's dedication.
It is.
But I think it's important to remember that these ads weren't just about entertainment.
Right.
They were actually reflecting some pretty big changes happening in the IT world back then.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So the early 2000s saw this rise of concepts like agile development.
Right. And
DevOps, which are all about flexibility, collaboration, and continuous improvement.
Keep making things better.
And those concepts, I mean, they're perfectly reflected in that airplane ad.
Yeah.
Where they're building the plane while it's already in flight.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Right.
It really illustrates that, yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's all about constantly adapting and evolving, keeping the system running.
Right.
And simultaneously making improvements.
And adding new features.
It's
like juggling chainsaws while you're riding a unicycle.
That's a good one. And speaking of agility, running with squirrels.
Yes.
I mean, that ad, it also captured that feeling. You have to be quick. You got to be adaptable.
Right.
To even keep up with the rapid pace of technological change.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, back then, things were moving so fast.
So fast.
New technologies popping up everywhere.
Businesses had to be nimble to survive.
Stay alive, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't enough to just build a system.
Right.
You had to be constantly learning.
Right.
Adapting.
And evolving. Absolutely.
And that's a lesson that's still relevant today.
Oh, I think even more so today.
Even more so today, you're right.
Than it was back then.
I mean, think about cloud computing.
Right.
Artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things.
Everything's moving even faster now.
I mean, the pace of change.
It has not slowed down.
It hasn't slowed down at all.
Yeah.
And I think these ads, in a way, they kind of serve as a reminder.
Of what?
That in IT, you can't afford to stand still.
You got to constantly learn.
You got to constantly be learning.
Experimenting,
pushing those boundaries.
Absolutely, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And you need a good sense of humor.
You got to be able to laugh at yourself.
To navigate all the chaos.
For sure.
But let's go back to Mark Hazelton for a minute.
Okay.
He wasn't just impacted by the humor of these ads.
Right.
He saw them as a reflection of the professionalism.
IT workers.
And the expertise of IT workers.
Okay.
And I think that's an important point.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he talks about how these ads really helped to elevate the status of IT professionals.
Okay.
Because they showed the world that IT wasn't just about fixing computers.
Yeah.
It was about solving these really complex problems.
Right.
Managing intricate systems.
It's a very different picture.
It is a very different picture.
Yeah.
And enabling innovation.
It's a much more strategic role.
And that's a powerful message.
It is.
Especially back then.
When IT was still kind of finding its place.
Yeah, finding its place.
In the larger business world.
In the business world, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think these ads, they really help to change perceptions.
Yeah, they help show.
And showcase how critical IT was.
For business success.
So I think it's safe to say that these ads weren't just funny and memorable.
Yeah.
They were culturally significant.
I agree.
They actually helped shape how people viewed IT.
Yeah.
Both inside the industry and outside the industry.
That's interesting.
So they were pretty impactful.
They were.
Now, while these ads were incredibly successful,
I
mean, they remain iconic.
Right.
Even today.
Yeah.
The sequel campaigns.
Right.
They didn't really reach the same level of fame.
That's interesting.
As Cat Herders did.
Cat Herders was definitely the big hit.
So why do you think that was?
It's an interesting question.
It is. It's interesting.
Airplane and Running with Squirrels.
Right.
They were clever.
Yeah.
They were visually engaging.
Yeah.
But they just didn't quite capture that same magic.
He didn't.
As Cat Herders.
Yeah. I think part of it.
What do you think?
I think part of it might be the originality of the Cat Herders concept itself.
Yeah, it was so unexpected.
It was so unexpected.
And it was funny.
It was hilarious.
And everybody could relate to it.
And instantly relatable.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, cowboys herding cats.
I know. It's just so absurd.
It's so absurd.
But it worked.
It worked.
It just perfectly captured what it's like to work in IT.
And nobody had seen anything like it before.
Nobody had ever done anything like that before.
It was brilliant.
It was a stroke of genius.
And the sequels, they kind of built on that.
Right. They tried to.
But they didn't quite have that novelty factor.
Yeah.
They didn't have that thing that made you go, whoa, what?
Yeah. And I think Cat Herders also had the advantage of being first.
You always remember your first.
You always remember your first, exactly. It set the stage for everything else.
It set the tone.
Yeah.
And it really became the benchmark for all the EDS ads that came after.
It did. It really did.
But even though the sequels, they may not be as iconic.
Right.
I think they still offer valuable insights.
Oh, absolutely.
Into how IT was evolving.
They show how EDS was trying to keep up with everything that was going on.
Trying to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
They were constantly adapting their message to reflect what businesses needed.
Absolutely.
And I think they continued to use humor effectively.
They did.
And metaphors, even if they weren't as groundbreaking as the original.
It's hard to top cat herders.
Yeah, they set the bar pretty high.
Think about the dialogue in those ads, though.
Yeah, what about it?
I mean, they were using language that really resonated with IT people.
They did.
And they were capturing the unique challenges and the triumphs of working in that field.
Yeah, for instance, the airplane ad.
Okay.
One of the workers says, some people like to climb mountains.
Huh?
I like to build planes in the air.
Wow, that's good.
I love that line.
It really captures that audacity and ambition that a lot of IT professionals have.
And then in Running with Squirrels, one of the runners says,
what do they say?
To beat this girl, you must think like a squirrel.
Oh, I like that.
I mean, that just speaks to the need
it does.
To be agile and adaptable in that constantly changing tech landscape.
It's so true.
And it's almost like those ads, they were predicting the future of IT in a way.
How so?
Well, they highlighted complexity.
Okay.
The rapid change.
Right.
The need to constantly innovate.
Yeah. Those are still the challenges that we're facing today.
We are still dealing with those.
Yeah, they're timeless lessons.
Yeah, they're timeless lessons.
Just as relevant now as they were back then.
It's a good reminder.
What do you think?
I think it's a good reminder that you got to be creative.
You got to be creative.
You got to be resourceful.
Yeah.
And always ready to adapt.
Always ready to adapt, absolutely.
And you need to be able to handle a few unpredictable squirrels.
You got to be a little bit crazy.
Along the way.
It helps.
But jokes aside.
Okay.
It's amazing to me that a series of Super Bowl commercials could have such a huge impact on an entire industry.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it really speaks to the power of storytelling.
It does.
And how effective humor and metaphor can be.
Yeah.
To communicate these really complex ideas.
They can make those ideas stick with you.
They make those ideas stick.
Way after the commercial's over.
Long after the commercial is over.
Yeah.
So it makes me curious.
What?
If EDS were to make a Super Bowl commercial today.
Oh, that's a good question.
What metaphor do you think they would use?
Ooh, that's tough.
To capture the current state of IT?
Oh, it's a really good question.
Because things have changed so much.
They have changed a lot.
Since the early 2000s.
Since the early 2000s, oh yeah.
I mean, we've got cloud computing.
Right.
Artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things.
All these new challenges and opportunities.
All these new challenges?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, maybe a commercial about cybersecurity.
Okay.
Where you've got a team of experts.
Right.
And they're defending a network from these constant threats.
Okay, like a constant barrage of attacks.
Like the constant barrage, yeah. And they're trying to keep everything safe.
Okay, I like that.
Or maybe a commercial about the power of data.
Okay.
Where you've got data scientists using algorithms to unlock these hidden insights.
To solve real-world problems.
Exactly.
I mean, the possibilities are endless.
The possibilities are endless, yeah.
But I think one thing's for sure.
What's that?
In IT, the need for clear communication, creative problem solving,
absolutely,
and a good sense of humor.
Can't forget the humor.
Is more important now
than ever
before.
Yeah, I agree.
So as we wrap up our deep dive here, into the EDS Cat Herders trilogy, I think it's safe to say that these ads, they weren't just about selling IT services.
What were they about then?
They were about celebrating the spirit of innovation.
Okay.
The resilience.
Yeah.
And those unique challenges and rewards of working in IT.
Absolutely. It's a tough job.
It is a tough job.
But it can be so rewarding.
But it is rewarding.
Yeah.
And these ads, they gave us a language.
To talk about those challenges.
Yeah. A way to connect with each other.
Yeah. A shared language.
Shared language.
For sure.
And I think a reminder that even in the face of all this chaos, a little bit of humor. Can go a long way.
It really can.
So to our listeners out there, we leave you with this question.
All right, hit us with it.
What metaphor would you use?
Ooh, good question.
To capture the challenges and opportunities that we face in IT today.
Yeah, how would you represent it?
What imagery would really resonate
with IT professionals today?
With IT professionals in 2024 and beyond? Share your thoughts with us.
Let us know.
On social media or on our website.
We'd love to hear from you.
We love hearing your perspectives.
Absolutely.
And keep that conversation going.
Yeah, keep it going.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
On this journey back to the early 2000s.
I enjoyed it.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
For another deep dive into the ideas
that shape our world.
That shape our world.